Now, this actually created quite an interesting conversation on Twitter, and as you can see, it's got 2 billion views. And it's pointing out how in a modern game, which is Resident Evil, you got this ladder that is not only painted yellow, but you got like these splodges of paint over here and some up arrows, like trying to suggest that it's a ladder. And people are pointing out like this is absolutely unnecessary. It's obviously a ladder. It's climbable. Obviously, a crate is breakable. Like, why do you do this? And the answer from Yamamoto Musaki is that it is literally good game design to do this, right? And we live in an age of gaming where you have quest markers, HUD indicators, a journal of some sorts, a path on the ground, highlighted items and routes, painted with "Interact me, please," pieces of geometry either isolated or all in tandem. So you can make the argument that this isn't necessary, but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the crude reality that happens behind closed doors. They usually pay a couple of people to pay test their games. And unfortunately, those people seem to constantly be suffering from some level of mental deficiency because like they literally will not know that this is a climbable ladder. So when the game developers look at this astonished and are seeing like people are finding it difficult to traverse the level, like, okay, well, let's paint the ladder yellow. And all of a sudden, all the people that were struggling with the ladder, they managed to overcome the difficulty. But the interesting thing is that, as you see here, that this is literally good game design. I wonder if they still do these stress tests. You know, these people in a room that are trying to play a video game, or they're just using these tests that were done 10 years ago, and now they're just under the philosophy that this is good game design and this is how you have to do it. Because I have seen Elden Ring just baffling most Western game journalists. Like, Elden Ring doesn't have this shit, right? Like, Elden Ring allows you to discover a lot of stuff by yourself. It doesn't have a UI. It doesn't have, like, a quest indicator. It doesn't have a HUD. It doesn't have a journal. And yet it managed to become one of the most immersive and cool games out there. Probably game of the year. So the thing is, like, maybe this is not good game design anymore. Like, maybe this used to be game design 20 years ago, you know, when people didn't really play video games and they didn't really understand. And if you have, like, someone's girlfriend picking up a controller for the first time, like, she wouldn't know what to do, and, like, this actually helps her. But we live in an age where almost everyone plays video games now. It's very difficult to find someone who doesn't, and even kids, they play video games. Like kids, you know, they will start with other types of games, like, obviously not Resident Evil. But they start with different types of games, and by the time they grow up, because like Resident Evil is the game for children anyway, and by the time they grow up and they're able to play Resident Evil, they probably know how to go up a fucking ladder. So, I genuinely believe that this is not necessary anymore. Like, I would really be curious to see if they're still making studies. But it does also talk about the culture we're in, and the type of, I don't know, like, instant gratification that people desire. Because when I was small, I remember, like, video games like Mario, you started the game, you had 3 lives, and if you died, you had to restart the whole game over again. And that was, like, almost every single video game back then. You didn't even have the ability to save game. You had to finish the game in one playthrough. If you died, you started back from level 1. So the reason that was cool is because people had the patience to keep trying. I mean, look at video games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 1 and 2. I think even 3 was like that. Revenge of Shinobi, you can look them up on YouTube and you can see what I mean. Like, these were games that you started, you had 3 lives, the game allowed you to collect extra lives, but if you had to stop playing for whatever reason, you could pause the game, but you weren't able to, like, shut down your console and then come back where you saved. Like, no. Like, once you reached a specific point, you had to restart the game from the very beginning. And despite the fact that you didn't have the instant gratification, people kept pursuing, and once you finished the game, it felt really great. Now, when I look at this, I wonder, do people who aren't able to figure out where the ladder is, and they're like struggling in the game for a while, they're walking aimlessly, Do they give up though? Like, do they just uninstall the game? I mean, it's a possibility. I generally like do not know the gamer mindset, the Zoomer mindset, if they just like uninstall the game. I remember like when I was playing Doom and I was playing like some of the first Tomb Raiders, you would get stuck a lot. Like especially in Doom and Wolfenstein, like you find the red door, but you only have the yellow key card and you can't find the yellow door. So like you're now walking aimlessly. Sometimes like you would walk around the level for 3 or 4 hours until you figured it out. And it was the same with Wolfenstein. Tomb Raider was the same. Like there would be a specific part where you get stuck, but you keep pressuring and eventually you find the way. Apparently nowadays, if people do not know exactly where to go within that second, it's not good game design. And I don't think that's the case because I have seen Elden Ring. But what's even more shocking, by the way, is video games like Resident Evil 3, I believe. If you reach a part where it's difficult and you keep dying, the game automatically suggests, and there are games that actually force you to go down a difficult level. And I'm like, just leave me the fuck alone. Like let me try the challenge. Let me die until I manage to actually overcome it. Until I manage to defeat the boss, so that I feel good and satisfied with myself that I managed to defeat something difficult. If you're going to just remove the challenge from me, then I may as well just watch a movie. And I think like this is why a lot of people are complaining. But yeah, and by the way, even with like easy game design and what people are saying, I genuinely think that this is unnecessary. No, I think like the person complaining here is actually right. Okay, if you have the ladder and you paint it yellow, there is no need to have like this on the wall as well. There's also like, in fact, like, come on, it's a ladder. Like the moment you climb one ladder in a video game, like the only thing that you need to do is to make all the ladders look similar. Like if you make ladders look different, then people will not, like they may have a difficult time knowing that it's climbable. But like the moment you have created one ladder, if all the ladders look alike, you don't need to put the yellow paint on it. You don't need to put the stuff on the wall. Like this is so unnecessary. And I do understand like why gamers like myself feel as if the game developers are treating us like children, I guess. But then you remember that there are other types of gamers out there that aren't like us. So let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.